The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Earnestly Speaking podcast, actually an emergency podcast. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's funny, I just recorded a podcast today that just dropped. A Super Bowl preview, which you guys check out if you get a chance. We are on iTunes, we are on Stitcher Radio, Google Play, Spotify, and now iHeartRadio. Earnestly Speaking Media in the house. That's kind of corny, actually. Whatever. This is an emergency podcast, actually, because, and I'll tell you what basically what happened today. I didn't plan on doing more than one podcast this week. Did the preview podcast, which I dropped today. Check it out, of course. And that was the plan. Just do one pod this week, 3 interviews, 3 separate recordings, put it into one, and dump it out for you guys, and back to normal next week. While I'm editing the show for today, I see a report that, take that back. I was actually in the middle of recording the last part of the podcast today. And I see a report from Bleacher. I see a click from Bleacher Report, a alert from Bleacher Report, which I get on my phone all the time, saying that Kristops, Knicks forward, who's been out for a year with his torn ACL, that Kristops is unhappy with the team, and the Knicks, and him had a meeting, and that he was probably unhappy with the team. Excuse me. No word of trades on that. This that he's unhappy with the team. Like, oh, okay, well, obviously, I'm sure teams will call and figure out what's going on in that situation there. You do that, obviously. So, I finished recording. I finished recording, edit, whatever. Pick up my kid from school, get back to the house. About 30 minutes later, I get another alert. Porzingis traded to the Dallas Mavericks. I'm like, dude, that was quick. That was real quick. Like, literally, an alert between the alert about Porzingis being unhappy and the announcement that Porzingis got traded within 2 hours, if not less. It's insane. It's insane. So, Kristops Porzingis pretty much is now a Dallas Maverick now. Traded from the Knicks. And by the way, we don't know when he's coming back. If I had to guess, excuse me, I had to guess, he's probably out for the rest of the season. I'm just Masters let him sit out this year, make sure he gets rehabbed. But here's a trade went down. It was a big trade today between the two teams. It's as follows. Here he goes here. I'm looking at it right here. So the Mavericks, the Knicks trade away Kristops Porzingis, Courtney Lee, Tim Hardaway Jr., okay? And apparently they began some picks also in this also. There's some picks also involved, which I have not released yet. For Wesley Matthews, Dennis Smith Jr., and DeAndre Jordan. Okay, so here's my initial reaction to the trade out the gate. My initial reaction is this. If you know the player's unhappy, obviously you need to act fast. And my brother's a big Knicks fan, so I got a text, and he's a tortured Knicks fan, so he's pissed off, and the Knicks gonna Nick. But I gotta be honest with you. Now, in the short term, the Mavs win. Because the better asset right now is Porzingis, and he's no longer on the Knicks. He's now on the Mavericks. So the better asset, whoever got the better asset in the short term won. And I say short term because of this, the injury to Porzingis. Look, we all expect him to be better next year. Fully recovered from the ACL injury. I hope he's back. I hope he's better than ever. But we don't know how he'll respond. So in the short term, the Mavs do win based on the upside. But we still haven't seen whether Porzingis will be the same guy post-injury. He is 7'2". And guys who tend to get hurt, players who tend to have a lot of lower extremity injuries of that size, Yao Ming being one guy, it doesn't work out long term for them. Now, I'm not saying Porzingis is not going to work. I'm not far from that. I'm not even going there. I'm just giving the real situation, giving realistic thoughts on the situation that could happen. So short-term Mavericks win. So people say, well, what about the Knicks? They got some players. Some guys are probably gonna some guys are probably gonna just probably get bought out. I mean, I'm thinking Wesley Matthews probably get bought out. The best asset for the Knicks in this deal is not even DeAndre Jordan. It's actually Dan Smith Jr. He's a second-year player. Second year, third-year player, one of the two. But this is the thing that happens here. The Knicks now, by making this move now, they're now on their way to clearing 2 max spaces. And considering how bad they are, I believe right now they have if not one of the worst records in basketball. I believe the last time I checked, they were actually the worst team in basketball. I'll check this right now as I'm recording this. But regardless, they're in the position right now to actually, if they get the number 1 pick in the draft, they can, and assuming, of course, Zion Williamson from Duke does declare for the draft this coming spring, the Knicks are in a position to get that guy and still fill 2 max spots, depending on how things work out with with the situation with this deal and all the logistics. And yes, by the way, the Knicks are currently have the worst record in basketball right now at 10-40. So they do get that. They do get that opportunity to clear room and rebuild. Look, it's quite obvious that Porzingis, didn't want to be there, and I think there's something also to the fact that maybe the Knicks know something. Is it possible the Knicks might know something in regards to Kevin Durant? Is it possible the Knicks might know something in regards to, I don't know, Kawhi Leonard or another max player? And we make fun of the Knicks all the time. And by the way, it's deserved because it is the Knicks. They are terrible. But I've been saying this all year long. I've been very complimentary to this Knicks team for the last 6 months to a year. And since they gave away Carmelo Anthony last year. So the last year and a half, and the records won't show this, but in terms of the front office, the New York Knicks right now seem very stable, regardless of what they're doing with the Carmelo thing last year and now with the Porzingis trade today. The Knicks seem to at least have a direction right now moving forward. Now, this may blow up in their face. They may not get a max player, a single max player. I mean, forget 2. They may not get 1. They may not get Kevin Durant. They may not get Kawhi. They may not get, I don't know, who else in the market out there. But it does feel like right now in this moment that the New York Knicks actually feel stable. Like they actually are making smart moves. And I'm not saying Porzingis was a smart one necessarily, but if he has no intent to stay in there long term, why delay the inevitable? Get rid of him, get some assets, and worry about it later. The New York Knicks is in this moment right now, in the short term, seem stable. As for the Mavericks, you get Porzingis, a guy who, if healthy, is a top 20 player in the league. I mean, I don't think that's hyperbole, right? I think we do agree when Porzingis is healthy and was playing well. Was playing well prior to the injury. He was definitely a top 20 player in the league. You get Luka Doncic also too, obviously with him. The nice little combo there, the 2 guys. So the Mavericks now got a core now to build around for the years to come, assuming they stay healthy. But I'm as excited about the Mavericks moving forward and watching Porzingis and Doncic moving forward. I am more curious about the New York Knicks and how things are handled. Now, all this could still blow up in the face. But I'm telling you right now, in the short term, the New York Knicks actually feel stable. And it's really weird. Lots of basketball to talk about here. Lots of basketball. Super Bowl 53 coming up in a few days. And we got that out of the way with our last podcast. Now we'll slam some heavy basketball talk. And it's good because now we need something to talk about now with the NFL ending. We'll obviously have the winner who will win the Super Bowl. We have the reaction to the who wins Super Bowl next week. But then as wins next week, we're going to be talking about a lot more, obviously, about the NBA will be front and center now in our lives. But, more NBA talk, more rumors. There was a report that came out this week. And to be honest with you, I'm very skeptical about the report anyway. But the report was that Kyrie Irving is reportedly, somebody close to the Celtics, or sources close to the Celtics, believe that Kyrie Irving is considering rejoining LeBron James in Los Angeles. Kyrie Irving, of course, played a couple years, 3 years with LeBron James in Cleveland, won a championship, won the 3 finals. Obviously, the breakup between the two guys, pretty ugly. I mean, Kyrie wanted out. He got out of the Boston. Hey, remember last week or 2 weeks ago, Kyrie actually admitting to the media, apologizing to LeBron James for how he handled things during his 3 years in Cleveland, being the young buck and being the second guy in command and not understanding, the leadership thing and only figuring out, actually telling LeBron that, he understood now. Basically, the leadership thing and whatnot, and LeBron's stature and all that. Basically apologized, which is cool, but it was odd for him to admit that publicly. And we don't know how's that playing in the locker room. We don't know. I mean, there's reports about players being a little bit side-eyed about Kyrie, about how he's handling leadership thing, things and all that. I gotta tell you, Kyrie Irving is a strange bird, man. I keep saying it on this podcast that Kyrie Irving is a weird guy. Kyrie he's just his own guy. He's his own guy. He's flat Earth, and he's just not. He's not. He's his own guy. He runs to beat his own drum. And this report now about Kyrie, supposedly a Celtics source, or a source close to the Celtics. Let me not say a Celtics source, because I don't think someone from the Celtics saying this, but I think it's a source close to the Celtics believes that Kyrie Irving will welcome a return to playing with LeBron James. Now, if you've been following the tea leaves, of course, with this, the Anthony Davis stuff, of course, early in the week, we touched on that a little bit on the last show with our good friend Jordan Burscarini on the Super Bowl preview podcast, because he's a Laker fan, and we went over the Anthony Davis stuff a little bit, which we go over it a little bit now on this show now, but it's almost expected that Anthony Davis will be a Laker at some point, whether it be in the next 10 days before trade deadline's over, whether it be in the next year or so. And there are reports now already coming out today that Anthony Davis, the Pelicans, and the Lakers have already engaged in some trade talks. There's been as many as 5 proposals on the table. You look at this situation, Anthony Davis. I mean, I would dare say that 80% of people listen to this podcast, or 80% of people who are NBA fans or following this, believe that Anthony Davis will be a Laker at some point in the next 6 months. Let's say 6 months between now and next year. Okay? And now it gets fascinating, because if you're getting Anthony Davis there to LA, assuming that LA trades all the parts away to New Orleans, it would make sense if Kyrie Irving goes to LA. I wouldn't knock this rumor down, because Kyrie Irving to me is a bit of a flake. Let's be real. I mean, I never bought the idea that even when he said early in the year about telling the media that he planned on being in Boston for the rest of his career or long term, whatever. I can't remember the exact words he used. I never bought it, because Kyrie Irving's a flake. He seems like a flake anyway. And also, I'm not even sure if the Celtics actually want Kyrie Irving long term. Forget the injuries and stuff, but it's the other things. Not as a bad guy, but again, beat of his own drum. So to me he's a flake. It wouldn't surprise me, But again, I also think he shouldn't have left LeBron's side in the first place. I'm in the opinion that he should have stayed with LeBron in the first place, the entire time. I mean, they could have probably gotten one more title out of that team. I mean, they came close, in 2014 without him when he got hurt in that game 1 against the Warriors. They won the game, second year. Third year, I mean, they lost 5 games, but that series is a lot closer than people give it credit for. So, I don't know. The Kyrie thing and stuff. It's fascinating. It's just weird. Him going to LA would not shock me. This report may have truth to it, because I never bought the idea of Kyrie. He said that. He said he would stay in Boston long term, or he wanted to stay in Boston long term. Kyrie, he's different. He's a different bird, and it will not shock me if you do see a reunion between LeBron and Kyrie Irving in Hollywood. It would not shock me one bit. So I'm finding it strange these days, all of a sudden hearing Shaquille O'Neal, Hall of Fame center Shaquille O'Neal, defend Kobe Bryant in the way he has the last couple of years. As you know, Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant had a very volatile relationship. Very, let's just say, not, okay, maybe volatile is the right word to use, but I think the word to use here between the two guys is very hot and cold. The words to use is hot and cold. 3 titles in LA, 7 years together, 3 years, 7 years together, 3 titles in LA, 4 finals appearances, and an ugly breakup. I mean, look, there's no doubt about it. The breakup they had was ugly. But in recent years, Shaquille O'Neal has become very complimentary of Kobe Bryant. So recently, I don't know where this came from, what publication this came through. There's no audio. I think this is all through an article. Shaquille O'Neal apparently is pretty upset because all the talk about the GOAT talk about in the NBA, greatest of all time, between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. And Shaquille O'Neal is quite pissed off that folks are, in his own words, disrespectful towards Kobe Bryant. Here's what he said about the fact that Kobe Bryant should be mentioned among the all-time greats in the GOAT conversation, rather. Quote, I find it quite disrespectful that they don't bring Kobe's name up. He said his one-time rival. That kind of pisses me off how they just skip over and say LeBron. I don't understand that because I was there with him and he was a bad mother. You know what it is. He said he was a bad motherfucker too. Which is true. Kobe Bryant was a bad motherfucker. There's no, how you may feel about Kobe Bryant, it is what it is. How you may feel about Kobe Bryant, look, the dude might be the most polarizing superstar in the history of not just basketball, probably all sports. I've always said about people who love Kobe Bryant, you love Kobe Bryant or you hate Kobe Bryant. I've gotten in fights with family members about Kobe Bryant in the past too. People who are passionate about their love of Kobe Bryant, saying he's top 5 player all the time. There's no doubt about that. And again, it's weird hearing Shaq defend Kobe Bryant in the way he does. When he left LA in 2004, he did nothing but shit on him the entire time. I mean, seriously, he did nothing but shit on him. Like, I remember when he won his title in his fourth title in Miami, there was this race about who won more titles. Once they broke up, who would win more titles between Shaq and Kobe. No, Kobe won that battle. Shaq got the first one in 06. By the way, with Dwayne Wade being the main guy. Then Kobe got 2. Back-to-back LA in 2009, 2010. But it's just weird hearing Shaq defend Kobe in the way he does now in this space. Now, I'm going to be clear to you. People, always ask me my opinion on the GOAT, who's the greatest of all time, this and that, where's Kobe stand? Look, Kobe Bryant to me is a top 10 all-time player. There's no doubt about that. But let me be clear about my position. And I'm not knocking Kobe Bryant because I love Kobe Bryant. I actually miss the guy. It's funny. As the years go by, I miss the guy more and more when it comes to being, in this league. And by the way, his drive to want to be great, you have to respect that. No one's going to doubt that at all. Kobe Bryant to me is number 8 on my list. I actually have a list. See, when people talk about lists and stuff, they say, oh, well, it's number 3, 4, whatever. But they actually don't have a list. I actually have a list, and I actually do update every couple of years. Kobe Bryant to me is number 8 on my list. Okay, but he's not the greatest Laker. Not the greatest player. He's not even the greatest. He may not even be the greatest player of his generation. It is quite possible that Kobe Bryant might have never been the best player in the league at any point of his career. I'm not saying that is the case. I'm just saying that it's very possible. Because, okay, came in the league in 96, obviously. That was Jordan. Jordan owned the league for, those last couple of years. He started the year out, okay? Then 98 to 2002, 3, you can say Shaq was the best player in the league. Then from 03 to 09, you can argue Duncan. Now, certainly, I would say Kobe should get some respect in that middle piece, because Kobe Bryant's best individual years came in 2006 and 2007 when the Lakers were mediocre. Okay? So it's strange. He was the best player probably, quite possibly in 06, 07, maybe. I'll give him that one. But it wasn't that long. It was never sustained. LeBron James was the best player in the league by 2009. I don't care what anybody says. I've had fights with people, radio personalities, NBA writers who disagree with me on this point, whatever. I think that LeBron James was the best player in the league from 2009 on. I think Tim Duncan was the best player in the league from 2003 to 2006-07. I can consider Kobe in 2006, 7, maybe 8. I consider it. He was definitely top 2. I mean, there's no about that. It was definitely top 2. But Kobe Bryant, to be honest with you, in my opinion, might have never been the best player in the league at any point in his career in one singular year. You can consider a couple years here and there, but best Laker of all time, that's Magic. Best shooting guard of all time, that's Jordan. Best player of his eras, Shaq, Duncan, LeBron. I mean, this will upset a lot of people, obviously, but it is what it is. But that doesn't mean he ain't great. He's top 10 all time. What's wrong with being top 10 all time? Why is Shaq mad? I mean, we agree he was a bad motherfucker. I mean, no one's disputing that Kobe Bryant was not a bad motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But to get mad about that, let's be real. I mean, he's pretty much a copycat of Michael Jordan. You look at the players who are all-time greats, in my opinion, who changed the league. That goes to guys like Jordan, LeBron. I would say Wilt Chamberlain's in the conversation. I see Magic, and then Kareem. So why is he mad about that? It's beyond me. Shaq's another one, man. Shaq's one of those people. I don't get it. I don't get the over defense of Kobe Bryant. But maybe because maybe Shaq could take credit of what he did. Shaq takes credit of the fact that, oh, by the way, I was the guy that pushed Kobe to the forefront to be who he is. Maybe he wants to take full credit for that. I don't know. That's it for today's show. I want to do a quick emergency podcast on mainly NBA podcast today because I did the NFL stuff yesterday, Super Bowl preview show. Again, check it out, the last episode, Super Bowl preview E3. I my picks in there, all the information, all you want to know, anything you want to know about the Super Bowl, prop bets, preview for the game, perspective with the Rams with my good friend George Buscarini. That's on the last episode. Today I want to do an emergency podcast with Porzingis and of course a couple of NBA things I want to touch on. By the way, LeBron James returns. I'm actually recording this on Thursday night. LeBron James returning tonight as is recording the Lakers after missing, I believe, it's 16 games. He missed this last stretch. It's definitely over a month. So, of course, on Twitter at EJ Christian 7. Get it, of course, Earnestly Media at earnestspeaking.net. Unless anything breaks next couple days, we'll see you next week. Love you guys. Take care. And see you.